Welcome to Athens, Greece, everyone. I'm Troy Mannering, and joining me with expert analysis is the legend himself, Andy Bell. Hey, it's our first time in Greece with the Red Bull X Fighters, and today we have 12 of the best freestyle motocross riders in the world vying for the top of the podium here. That, however, will be no easy task because the track which has been built in the Dionysus Marble Quarry is immense. Andy, tell us about this setup here.
Well, Troy, it is absolutely incredible. This track will be challenging for a lot of reasons. First of all, it's huge with lots of line choices. There are 11 different jumps out there, 3 of which are quarter pipes, which we've never seen before. Next, there's the dirt. Let's not forget that we're in a marble quarry, so it's not the grippiest of surfaces to ride on. And then there are the levels. Pictures simply don't do the sheer depth of this space justice, and with 3 different levels to ride on, each with a lot of jumps, the line choice is going to be critical here. Imagine the size like this. It would take 40 Parthenons to fill the quarry in, so it's absolutely massive.
Indeed, this course is something special. Let's take a look at what it took to get this colossal track ready to ride.
Welcome to the massive Dionysus Marble Quarry here in Athens. The Parthenon Temple could fit in this quarry 40 times. It's the biggest freestyle playground for the freestyle motocross riders, and it's the largest course in the 2015 World Tour. It took us 400 mining truckloads of dirt in here and 3 weeks to build this thing. The track is split up on 3 levels, 1, 2, and 3, and each one much bigger than my house. There are lots of jump options here on the track, 2 dirt jumps, 3 quarter pipes, 3 kickers, and 2 super kickers.
7 riders have already made it directly to the quarterfinals from the qualification round. Now, the remaining 5 of our 12 will compete for one single spot in the head-to-head battles. All these athletes, however, will have to utilize more than just their experience to be successful here. Andy, can you take us through the keys to the win at this event?
Well, as we just saw Dane and his creation down here, it's going to be tough tonight. So number 1, prepare for this massive track. They haven't had a lot of time to train out there, so the riders are going to have to mentally prepare, visualize their line and the trick choices. Create your line and ride it. You got to stick to it. You can't get lost out there. And then in the end, you have to bring it all together. You're going to have to do both in order to take home the win here tonight.
Yeah, and it is such a big, big track. I mean, if we look at some of the images we're seeing on screen right now, there's one of our quarter pipes. There's one of the longer distance jumps. We got a couple of super kickers in the mix. I mean, this is a really, really big course. And then you can see the variations of the levels, 3 different levels, and each level is a minimum of 8 meters in depth, I would say. We were standing next to some of these walls earlier on today, and it is just immense out there. There's no other way to describe it.
You feel like you're an ant. I mean, honestly, Dane had his mad scientist brain going on out there while they were using the mining trucks to fill in this place. And you know what? It's really, really going to be crazy to watch all the different line selections. Some guys are going to start up top, some guys down below, some guys in the middle, some guys on the quarter pipe, some guys on the dirt. It's going to be all over the place tonight. I love seeing all the creativity they're going to be able to bring to their runs.
Well, we shouldn't forget this is a judged event. Judging is always an important aspect of our sport here, and we have probably the most qualified and fair judging crew around. Let's talk a little bit about these guys.
Well, that's true, Troy, and let me tell you, I do know a little bit about this. I spent 7 years as the head judge on this tour, so, you know, thankfully for me, I'm up here with you now just talking about it. I don't have to be down there. These guys have the toughest job out of everyone, but they are the best in the world, and that's what's so unique about the Red Bull X Fighters judging system. We have 5 different categories judged by 5 different experts. You're seeing Drake McElroy there get in his pigtails, get introduced for variety. So variety, and Drake, a very accomplished freestyle rider in his own self, variety is not just the types of tricks you do. Is it flip tricks? Is it not flip tricks? Front of the bike, the back of the bike. So the judge is really going to be looking out for that. Adam Simpson, he's going to be doing execution. Execution is how far off the bike can you get? How straight do your legs go? How straight are your arms? How far off the bike can you get before you get back? That's execution.
And the landing as well.
And the landing, yeah, you're absolutely right. These guys want to see both tires hit down at the exact same time. No front up in the air or end doing down. We want to see all at the same time. Style, which is form and flow. We saw Alvaro Del Fara himself, still a competitive freestyle motocross rider. He was born to party, as he likes to say. But this guy, he's traveled the world. I met him back in 2002 in Italy at a show, and he just continued to push the levels of freestyle. But he's going to be judging style, which is form and flow. Use of course, that is Drake. He's going to be looking at all the different ramps, how well you use them, how well you get in between your levels of the jumps, and also, are you using the super kickers? Are you using the quarter pipes? Are you also using the dirt jumps? That's all going to factor into the way that he judges tonight. And then we have energy. We just saw Jason Moriarty. He's got the handlebars there, and he will be live judging as these guys ride. He'll be cranking that throttle, and you'll see it on screen. And we now have the head judge, Brody. Are you out there, buddy? Can you give us a quick rundown on what you're going to be doing?
Yeah, man. So tonight, my name's Brody. I'm the head judge. I'm responsible for overseeing all 5 categories, breaking any ties, and coming up with a solution for any other situation that may arise at the time.
All right, well, thank you. That's perfect. Nice and succinct. That's it. He's got the tough job. If these guys tie, he's going to have to look back through and compare all of these scores head to head and see who comes out on top.
All right, folks. Well, we are just getting ready to go with action in round number 1. Now, once again, just to reiterate for you, what we're looking at in round number 1 is the 5 riders who didn't go directly into the quarterfinals. And we look at this list of riders here. One rider that sticks out particularly is Thomas Pages. He had a bunch of problems yesterday. The other guys here, Javier Villegas, he crashed pretty hard. Looking for him to ride today. Thomas Pages, as I just mentioned, Christian Meyer, who you just saw, Nick Franklin right there giving us the gloves, and of course right next to him, Remy Bissoir. So 5 guys, top-level riders, and they're going to be battling out to try and get that one single position to go into the quarterfinal.
This, well, first of all, if you're any of the other guys in this round number 1, you are not stoked to see Tom Pages, former World Tour champion. I mean, it's already tough enough that only one guy is going to move forward in this, and there's the man himself. He had a really tough go last night, but he was absolutely hucking the alley-oop flare. 2 times he tried it, 2 big get-offs. Yeah. Thankfully for him, he's okay. But he told me earlier he has no more spare parts for his bike.
Yeah, so he's stoked if he brings something.
He's done. But if you're Remy, who has a 2nd place in this tour before, you know, you're just not happy to see Tom down here in these ranks.
Well, not either with Javier Villegas, and he's going to be the first guy to go out there and ride. The Chilean was looking really good. Great to have him back on the tour. He crashed really hard last year, broke his femur, and he was taking a long time to come back from that. And it's really fantastic to have him back here because a few years ago he came out the first event in Dubai and he got 3rd place on the podium, and everybody was like, whoa, cool. So Javier will be the first rider out, and again, we talk about this first guy out. He's got to warm everybody up. You know, he's got to warm himself up, the judges up, the audience up, and then he's showing off everything to the other riders. So that's a disadvantage for him.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be the first guy out. You're right. We always talk about it, but that's because it's the truth. But here we go. Javier, he is ready. He had a big crash last night in practice on that jump, actually, I think. He goes a little bit long on the cliffhanger, but, you know, there's some nerves there in these big 450s like he's riding. I mean, a little bit of an extra turn of the throttle, you're going an extra 20 feet. So he's got to calm down, mellow out a little bit. As he goes a big C-grab Indian air backflip there.
We should mention that he is not allowed to do any other backflips or rotational tricks in this run in the first round. So that was his joker trick. This has got to be all upright, traditional style tricks. So no spins.
Yeah, and that's basically taking freestyle back to about 2008, 2009. So he does a side saddle takeoff, so both feet on one side of the motorcycle, if you see that, and then into the kiss of death. So really working these old school tricks here, Troy. And Javier looking solid, though.
He's got to get on the gas for this one last trick here. He's got to be under power before the time runs out.
Oh,
wow!
Nice!
Very nice.
Really great whip out of Javier. That's one of the best whips I've actually seen out of him, I think.
Yeah, normally we're not seeing whips out of Javier, but he's got a lot of great style, and that was a beauty whip.
We need to see more of those because that looked great. And Javier been having a rough one. He's crashed so many times, he told me, in the last 2.5 years. He's kind of over it. He really smashed himself a couple months ago doing a mini flip, he said. He's like, I didn't know you could even crash that hard doing a mini flip.
He knocked out some teeth and needed to get stitches in his mouth.
Broke his nose, he said. Huge, like 34 stitches in his inner thigh. He really had a rough go. Smashed his finger.
He got the bar basically right inside his helmet there. Let's look at this in replay.
All right, here's the first jump out. Big cliffhanger, great extension. Now it just goes a little bit long, lands right at the bottom, but still got the great extension, which was really important. Backflip, Superman, seat grab, Indian air. And then a picture perfect rock solid.
Got to be one of my favorite tricks for old school tricks.
Yeah, you got to love the old rock solid. And then here, there's that side saddle lander. And that trick last night is what actually caused him to crash. The bike kicked out a little bit sideways. He came up a little bit short. And when he came up short, you'll notice it's very powdery out there. It's not hard ground like we're used to. And it actually threw him over.
Yeah, high-sided him.
Big swap and then high-sided him and tossed him onto the ground. He actually said he saw white for a minute and had a ringing in his ears. So really happy to have him back. And
now we have Thomas Pages.
Man, this guy is just, he's changed the face of freestyle motocross.
Well, we've said this so much about Thomas the last little while, and it's come from a desire to progress the sport without having to flip. Back in 2009, he and his brother both suffered pretty devastating crashes when they were attempting a front flip, and Thomas looks like he's going to start right away with this trick that was hammering him yesterday.
This is it. Alley-oop. And he stops it. He stops it.
Fantastic.
The first time in competition, we see that alley-oop flare, and now he's
man.
Absolutely backwards.
He's pumped.
On the turn down there. Yeah, and you know, Thomas is that guy, if he stomps that, he likes to put the big trick first, and if he stomps that one,
you know it's
very rarely will see him mess up after that, and he just, that whip was one of the biggest whips we've ever seen from him.
I love that flatliner as well. That is just so amazing.
He lays that trick out further than anybody else, I think, that's ever done that trick. And the alley-oop flare, just wait until we look at that in slow motion. Absolutely incredible. Tom is looking great here. Ruler stretches it out. He's pumped. He just has to, all he has to do is stay on the motorcycle as he just drops 25 feet to flat. And
my. I mean, we were talking about this situation here. He's excited. The adrenaline is flowing. He needed to have that first trick in his run in order to get that confidence back. Absolutely, bar none, is a fantastic trick. But you saw he got a little bit wild towards the end there, and that could have very much cost him the points that he may need in order to move on to the quarterfinals. But that was a fantastic run, all in all.
I think even with that dead sailor at the end, I don't think there's any way, no matter what anybody else does, I can't see them taking that down. I mean, wow, watch this. He sets up on the quarter pipe. Now, you'll see some flares tonight, but this alley-oop, he's actually twisting inwards.
Yeah.
Instead of he's twisting against his rotational direction, which is just incredible. Could not have landed more perfectly. And there we see about 160-degree turn-down whip, completely backwards. Stretches out the double grab heart attack, looks over the judges.
Yeah. That's commitment right there.
That is. And look at him just stretch out that flatliner. Everything Tom did looked absolutely perfect. A little nose high on that landing, but he's riding on adrenaline. He is there hasn't been a showman in this sport like this since Travis Pastrana. And
Travis Pastrana is one of Thomas's heroes.
Right, and you can see that in the way he rides.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's goofing around, dorking around like that. I mean, he's pumped. he is just, I'm blown away with what we just saw.
Yeah, that's a good run, and you can see
There's some concern on the faces.
Well, there's Clinton Moore and Josh Sheehan right there. Clinton Moore, the closer face on your screen. He's currently leading our tour. Josh Sheehan, he missed the first event of this tour, but he is back on fire. He won the qualification round, so if Thomas gets through this first round, he's going to go up against Josh Sheehan.
Wow. Yeah, and there was definitely some concern on their faces there. They're like, oh man, okay,
So
what am I going to bring?
all right, next rider, Christian Meyer. Not a name that you would typically associate with a kid from Spain, but he really, really impressed us yesterday during the qualification round, and I think this kid is going to have a very good future. And I think you actually figured out he's only 16 years old.
Well, I mean, that's counted on my math, Troy, which is not my strong suit, but according to the math in my head off our sheet, he's 16 years old, and he had the run of a lifetime last night. I mean, he was absolutely perfect. We only saw him once. He didn't come out for a second run because I think he left everything on the table, but body burials and everything. So let's see what he's got.
Wow.
Just big whip there. Not the turn down style. It was more the seat bounce style whip. Got it right upside down. And to be the age this guy is and to be riding with the poise that he's riding with is really impressive.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Well, there's his Joker trick, and he landed it, although it looked from our perspective, I think, like he was going to go into the wall.
It did look like he was going to go into the wall, and we're actually so far away from these jumps right now. I couldn't quite tell was that the vault or the California roll. We were so far away.
Good point.
We're going to have to check it out in our slow-mos. We have the bird's eye view up here, I'd say, where, well...
I'd say we're 150 meters up in the air. It feels like it anyway.
We are, and Christian just continuing to go on perfect trick after perfect trick. Great extension. You know, he went a little long on that varial trick, but other than that, he's been spot on, and this is going to be tight.
All right, the horn sounds before he made it into the corner, so I'm pretty sure that this last trick will not count as he goes for the pumping cliffhanger.
Little Bilko going on
Bilko
there.
style, absolutely.
But man, he looks pumped, and I love the way he rides. He's very fluid rider. He must be a great motocross rider, I'm going to guess, because he just has a lot of fluidity on the motorcycle outside of the ramps even.
Well, we've noticed, too, that motocross riders tend to have maybe not the easiest time in these tight arenas, but when you talk about a big arena like this, the motocross riders tend to be able to get around the course a lot better because they have better bike skills as far as cornering, and he just let the bike go.
I'm not sure what just happened, actually. The cameraman, we're going to have to see if there's another angle of that. So I'm not sure if he did a mini flip or just flipped the motorcycle or what, but let's take a look here. Hanging off, very, very old school motocross style, but not that old school. Maybe Kevin Windham style right there.
Yeah, that's
so it is the California roll.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Good
you see him
call, Andy.
taking off, and you caught me on that last night, so I'll catch you tonight. And when he takes off, holding onto the seat, and then rolls 360 around his hand, that's actually the California roll, which Taka started doing last year in Osaka.
Yeah.
And you see some great extension. Great landings out of Christian Meyer here as you see both hands touching down at the same time.
And that California roll is actually Taka's answer to the special flip from Thomas Pages, and it's just both of those tricks are really incredible. And we're seeing a lot of different variations, and you're right, it's a mini flip.
It was a mini flip.
Got a little bit away from him, though.
Wow, the mini flip to eject button, but hey, that looked pretty good. He should have done that in his run.
Probably, hey?
Well, I don't know. Maybe the California roll is a few more points, but...
He is pumped, though. Look at that kid. Great job by Chris Meyer. Really nice to see him here, and I bet you he's making a big impact on our judging crew and our organizational staff in the freestyle motocross world in general. Just a great job.
And he was so stoked after his run last night. He rode around for about 10 minutes, punching the air, and so stoked that we didn't see him back out for the second run.
Next rider up, Nick Franklin from New Zealand. This guy has been around this game a long time. We haven't seen him in quite a few years, but really, really nice to have him back in the mix here.
It's great to have Nick back, and I was chatting with him earlier. He just said, you know, he only had about a week's notice to come here. He's only been riding demos So he just hadn't had a lot of time to really perfect a lot of new tricks, but...
Yeah, but saying that, he's got a couple of nice tricks in his bag of tricks, if you want to put it that way.
He absolutely does, and to be finishing where he finished last night and qualifying, and here we go, a little Indian air on the dirt step up to start off, which is great for the use of course, and then right into a very nice lazy flare.
And this is great because I like the way he chose to do the line. It went straight from a really big jump into that flare, and he's got good flow going on already.
So a little thing to point out there for the variety judge, you just saw with the super kicker, he actually did a Superman Seagram Indian air again. So second out of 3 tricks. So that's not going to be great for the variety judge.
Yeah, you can't make that mistake.
But we just had a little Shaolin bar hop from Nick. And he just said earlier, he said, I'm just pumped to be here. I was on the couch a week ago, and I got the call from Tess and said, hey, you know what, I might not be totally ready, but I'm going to do it anyway. Big cliffhanger. And I think we're going to see, we should see a varial out of Nick here, a California roll if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, but he's got to be careful because he's already used up his one joker trick here because of the flare. So if he does a California roll or anything, he's disqualified. Good so call. He made the smart decision there with the kiss of death.
Yeah, that's very, very good. I would have got disqualified if I would have done both my inverted tricks out there, Troy.
All 2 of them, huh?
Yeah, which was usually the flying W as I fell off and maybe falling off my bar stool.
Just look at this preparation by Josh Sheehan there. We mentioned that mental preparation, or you talked about it earlier on in our keys to the win, and that's one of the things that these guys are so focused on now is riding that run in their head. Let's take a look back here, though, with
all right,
this great
starting
run
off,
from Nick
big
Franklin.
Dirt step up there. So the Seagram Indian air, old school trick there, and here, there's the flare. He's only done a few of these to dirt, he said, so.
Yeah, really? Those are awesome looking.
Yeah, really nice, and that was way better than what we saw out of him last night as well. He got another 20 degrees of rotation.
A little bit more amplitude as well.
Really good, like looking very solid. And then I think that's off the other side. So I think he did switch up which direction he did that Indian air, but still I don't think the variety judge is going to count that as, it won't be quite a repeated trick, but...
well, in mountain biking, they're calling it OPU, opposite.
Yeah,
so,
it was opposite, which not a lot of guys have ever seen do that, so...
That's maybe the next phase of freestyle motocross.
It's going to have to be, I mean...
Where else do we go? I mean, it's just incredible where it's gone already, and there's still lots of development to come in the sport. Nick Franklin, great job out there. And as you notice, Andy, we're not seeing any of the scores here yet from these guys, so we have no idea.
Nobody knows.
We have no idea. I mean, we can kind of guess, but we have no idea yet who is the one person that's going to be moving on to the quarterfinals, which makes that all that much more exciting. With one rider left to go, Remy Bizarre, you can see or hear his engine burping out there. This guy, really, really interesting case, opted not to ride the second run yesterday because he knew he was going to end up in this first round and decided to come out and try and do the damage here now.
Well, we've got such a big course here and so many options and opportunities for different line choices. Remy choosing to start at the very top of the course. You hear that big 450. He'll start off.
Wow.
One-handed hard attack. A little bit executioner style there. And as he drops down, look, he's got a big camera, an onboard camera there on his rear fender. I wonder if that's going to throw him off at all. And big kiss of death backflip.
That's his joker right there.
Oh, well, I guess he doesn't have a camera on his rear fender anymore.
Not anymore.
That was short-lived.
I was talking with Busty Walter, and he said he was having trouble keeping the thing on there because the frame kept breaking and he needed to build an aluminum frame for it.
Attack style getting off the side there.
One thing I wanted to say one thing I really like about Remy's style is that it's so smooth and flowy when he gets into these tricks, and he's so flexible. In that particular trick right there, the kiss of death, he had that head right next to the fender and then scorpion those legs over. Just fantastic.
And you see he's worked his way all the way back up. Seagram Indy again. So some decent tricks out of Remy, and the last trick we just got the call is going to count, so that's pretty good. He got a good number of tricks there. Yeah. It's going to be really tough for any of these guys. So with Tom nailing that alley-oop flare, I mean, wow.
We should probably point out, folks, if you're just joining us, when we say the last trick counts, the rider, in the rule book, the rider has to be under power in the direction of the ramp in order for the last trick to count. So if he's in the curve and under power, it's on a question mark there, and it comes to Brody Hendrickson's decision. But if he's not under power towards the ramp, the last trick won't count. So that's really important, especially with only 60 seconds in this first round.
Remy really getting separation from the bike as well as getting good execution there. And then same thing there, that's just a super kicker. So he's getting the use of course by getting over to the super kicker. As he kind of like looks around for his grab hold there with the left hand.
Where is it? Where is it? Where?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so that's a good feeling when you finally grab that thing when you're flying through the air. Because let me tell you, not very fun to miss that grab.
Well, not at all. And we know that a couple of guys have missed that grab and had to struggle back to get on the bike. All right, there are our 5 guys from this round number 1. We just saw Remy Bizarre ride. Nick Franklin just before him, Christian Meyer. Javier Villegas was the first guy to ride. Thomas Pages right after Javier. The question is now, who will be the single rider to move on to the quarterfinal? And I don't think that any of these guys are really super keen on moving up. I mean, obviously they want to get to the quarterfinal, but they know that they're going to have to go up against Sheeny when they get there.
Yeah, so it's a tough road to go. So Christian Meyer
here we go.
Coming in 5th, 79.5. Had a great run, but hey, a lot of times the new guy doesn't make it through qualifying.
Yeah.
So I think he's a little confused maybe, but you know what? Pretty good showing for the new guy, and I think at his age there's a long ways for him to go.
All right, let's see who's going to take 4th. Nick Franklin from New Zealand breaking the 80s with an 80.5 in 4th place. So those 2 guys, we won't be seeing them anymore tonight. That's unfortunate, but that's the way it is.
Well, Nick said he was just happy to be here, so really great to see him back on tour. I have a feeling in case to be ready to get the call next time, he's going to go home and hone a couple more tricks.
For sure. Javier Villegas, he's got 3rd place in this one, so good job by Javier. Nice to have him back, as we said.
Especially after a big crash last night, too. I mean, when you hit your head and you see white,
that's not
very good. Yeah, it's good that he's back here and was feeling okay. He said he's a little stiff, so.
All right, the battle now comes between Remy Bizarre and Thomas Pages. Let's see who it's going to be. Oh, it's only
0.2.
Yeah, point 2 is it. And let's see. Remy Bizarre, Thomas Pages. Thomas Pages! Oh, my goodness. Thomas manages to get through round 1. A little bit sketchy that he had to ride in round 1 to begin with, but he did a great job, and he is through to the quarterfinal, so he will battle it out in the 4th heat in the quarterfinal against Josh Sheehan.
Well, here's something to point out, too. He made a big mistake at the end of the run, like Tom can when he's too excited, but he made it through against Remy and the crew in the round 1. You can't make a mistake against Josh Sheehan at all.
Quarterfinal actions looking like this then. Danny Torres is going to go up against David Ronaldo in heat number 1. Heat 2 belongs to Adam Jones and Rob Adelberg. Heat 3 is Levi Sherwood and Clinton Moore. That should be a great battle.
Wow, that's like a final right there.
And then we've got heat number 4, as we just said, is going to be Thomas Pages going up against Josh Sheehan.
Well, speaking of finals, that is, I mean, Levi versus Clinton was the final last event in Mexico City.
Yeah, exactly.
And Tom versus Sheeny, I'm sure we've seen that one before too. So, wow, and that's quarterfinal action, Troy.
So we are set to go with our quarterfinals. Thomas Pages will have a little bit of time to recuperate a bit there in the paddocks, because he has to wait until the first 3 heats in quarterfinal are completed before he gets to go up against Josh Sheehan. And I'm sure that when we do talk about the quarterfinal, he's going to be thinking about how his run is going to go as well, because they've got 75 seconds in the quarterfinal. Athens, Greece. No city boasts the history Athens does. It's the birthplace of democracy, scientific history, Western medicine, and modern philosophy. It's home to the Acropolis and the incredible Parthenon, and today it's home to the Red Bull X Fighters, a first for us here in Greece. Our riders will tackle a course built in the Dionysus Marble Quarry, famed for its brilliant white marble. This is stop number 2 of the 2015 Red Bull X Fighters World Tour. Troy Mannering and expert Andy Bell with you once again.
Troy, this place is absolutely incredible. Pictures simply don't even do the enormity of this location justice. The guys are going to have their work cut out for them to navigate around this 3-level quarry course here in Athens.
The 2015 Red Bull X Fighters features 5 stops at stellar locations around the world, and we started off in Mexico City, Mexico. After a short break, we are back in business here in Athens, Greece, and then comes a classic in Madrid, Spain on the 10th of July. From there, we'll return to Pretoria, South Africa on the 12th of September, and finally, we'll crown a World Tour champion in the United Arab Emirates on October 30th. We mentioned the course here, but we also have an incredibly strong field of riders representing freestyle motocross here today in Athens. No less than 7 X-Fighters event winners and 4 X-Fighters World Tour champions are here to do battle. Let's meet these men who will be mixing it up in our Clash of Champions.
This is no doubt the best rider lineup in the history of Red Bull X Fighters. I can think of at least 4 of these riders that could win on this massive course tonight. I would watch out for Clinton Moore. He spent 4 years on tour and finally made his way to the top, taking the win in Mexico. He's carrying some serious momentum here.
My goal is just to stay on top, really. Like, at the end of the day, just play it cool, keep your head together and have a good time and just make sure I'm top 5.
Levi Sherwood's in the house, and this kid's not a kid anymore. He's 23 years old. He has 8 event wins. He's a World Tour champion, and he has a new variation on his transfer flip. He's going to come out swinging.
I'm going to go out there and ride the best I can and try and see what I can come up with.
What can I say about Tom Pages that hasn't been said before? This guy has it all. He's redefined the sport of freestyle motocross with flares, body varials, 360s. He's a 2013 World Tour champion, and he may be the guy that does all 3 quarter pipes.
If I do my tricks, I should be able to get a good rhythm.
Last and certainly not least is Josh Sheehan, last year's World Tour champion, missed Mexico City and is hungry to come back here, stomp the double flip, because he'll do that anytime, any place, and probably do anything to defend his title.
Obviously, I want to win. Of course, I want to win. I want to take the championship again.
Well, there's a massive course, the best rider lineup ever, really all the ingredients to make this event here in Greece totally epic.
Another former World Tour champion that will undoubtedly factor into the competition here is Danny Torres, and we've seen from Danny Torres before, he can work well under pressure even on big courses like this.
Well, as you see there on the graphic, 2011 World Tour champion. He has 7 wins, and this is his 43rd start, almost more than double than anybody else out here tonight.
Incredible. All right, our standings after one event in Mexico at the beginning of our season look like this. Clinton Moore on top, having won there against Levi Sherwood in the head-to-head final. Thomas Pages takes 3rd place overall. Danny Torres, who we just mentioned, is in 4th. Remy Bizarre and Adam Jones mixing it up in the top 6. And then we see from 7 to 12, Viegas, Brody Wilson, Jeremy Rouanet, Harry Bink, Eric Ruiz, and Matt Ribot all factor in here. But the guys we're going to be talking about tonight are the gentlemen that are in this quarterfinal. And heat number 1 in the quarterfinal, we're going to see Danny Torres and David Ronaldo. But we have also to figure out the keys to the win.
Well, number 1, prepare for this massive track. These guys haven't had very much time to train due to some wind, so they need to mentally prepare, visualize their lines and jump choices on this huge track, and really stay focused. They have to choose their lines and stick to it. You can get lost out there on this huge track, so once again, stick to it. What do you have to do to win? Bring it all together. Visualize your line, stick to it, keep your tricks tight, and you're going to go home a winner.
Yeah, and we are in a judged event here. We've got 5 judges up there that are judging categories. It's one of the most fair judging systems we've got. Talk about these guys quick.
Well, I've got a little experience up there at the judging table, 7 years as the head judge, and I'm so happy to be up here with you tonight, Troy. So we have 5 specialists in 5 different categories up there. We have variety, we have execution, form and flow, use of course, and energy, which is actually going to be a live judge thing, so you'll see on the screen once in a while. He's actually judging it as it happens, and then the head judge, Brody Hendrickson, to put it all together at the end if there's any ties.
All right, this is how it works. It is win or go home, and there we have Brody.
Our head judge right there. So if there's any ties or any hard calls to be made, that's the man that's going to be making the call.
As I was just saying, the way it works here is win or go home. In this next format, it's head-to-head action. It's a timed run of 75 seconds in the quarterfinal, so we got a little extra time compared to round 1, and they need to win 3 of those 5 categories that you just mentioned. And we're moving on to a little review of that round 1 action. So if you guys are just joining us live here, you get to see what happened to get one rider into this quarterfinal from round 1.
And it was a doozy. Mr. Pages, former champion, he is coming back hard and strong, trying to retake his glory of winning, and he brought a brand new trick to the table, the alley-oop flare. He couldn't do it in Mexico City. The bike wasn't running correctly, so he stomped it there. Great execution. You're going to notice here there's only one inverted or rotational trick, so he could only do the one alley-oop flare. That is a happy man, but now he goes up against last year's champion and reigning champion Josh Yin in the quarterfinal, and that is going to be a tough one.
That is going to be a tough one, and we'll take a quick look at our bracket here. The first seed in the quarterfinal will be Danny Torres going head-to-head against David Ronaldo. These two guys are also battling on another tour. Second one's going to be Adam Jones and Rob Adelberg going against each other. This should be a well-matched battle between these two guys. Levi Sherwood and Clinton Moore, the guys that were in the final in Mexico. We won't see them both in the final this time because one of them is going to get eliminated. And of course, what you just mentioned, Tom Pages and Josh Sheehan going against each other in heat number 4. First quarterfinal heat coming up with Danny Torres versus David Ronaldo. Let's get it on.
France versus Spain here, and take a look at where we are. This is absolutely incredible.
Hi, Danny Torres. Tonight is a big night. It's all or nothing.
Well, it's true, all or nothing. I mean, he's got to lay it down against Ronaldo right now if he wants to move on to the semifinals. He had a good start to the year in Mexico, 4th place, which for the way Danny started the last couple of years, I think 4th is actually a pretty good start.
Yeah,
and you know, he put a solid result into the books, and now we see he's going to get going right here.
I will say, though, that I think Danny Torres has a slight disadvantage against David Ronaldo because David is one of those guys that's bringing a few of those new school rotational and variational tricks to the table. So, and that's what we're still waiting for Danny to come with.
Very true. He starts off strong with a great lazy boy backflip, really extending it out straight into the rock solid, and let's just keep track of some of these, let's call either new school or the huge inverted tricks. Danny gets going, another Cordova backflip, so it's a second backflip. Let's call it the high level backflip tricks right now. And then C-grab backflip. I'm not sure if he was looking to do that double grab backflip, which he actually has in his arsenal.
Yeah, it's a strong trick for him.
And if he does the C-grab backflip and a double grab backflip, I think the variety judge may actually dock him a little bit, even though difficulty-wise, that's at the top of the chain.
He's got about 20 seconds left in his run, by the way.
All right, let's take a look here. Executioner backflip, which is C-grab backflip, and then reaching back with the left hand and tapping on the boot. So great variety so far. 7 seconds left. He should be absolutely fine to hit this one. He's got the flip levers flipped up. Let's see what he's got to finish off strong here. And it's the Paris Hilton backflip. Great landing. Both tires coming along as he drops off the edge of the quarry there. Man, we're feeling some wind up here in our booth.
Yeah, it's
so
starting
I
to
can't
get windy up
imagine
here.
what those guys are getting down there. And Danny's such a great showman. Some of these guys forget about the show, but Danny was born in the bull rings
and
of the
that's
Plaza de
all
Toros. both
story.
in Madrid, and he understands the showmanship is so important. So always doing a great job.
And that plays a role into our energy, entertainment, and excitement judge. He wants to see that these guys are putting down a show and playing with the audience, and that's going to make a difference in how the audience reacts and how the energy, entertainment, and excitement judge will react on the throttle as well.
These guys are stoked to get some of Danny's gear. So let's take a look. He started off strong on the lazy boy backflip. We watched a few of these guys doing it. You want to see the helmet come all the way back to the rear fender and get nice and stretched out. You see his body nice and even with the bike, parallel with the bike. Cordova flip, you see him grabbing. He was a little short, so he didn't hold it quite as long as he might have liked to.
Little sideways,
and there,
too.
I think that's where he wanted to do the double grab back flip, but he got a little bit off kilter a little bit, so I had to stick with the C grab. And then Danny coming around. A lot of times you see him do the no-handed lander out of that, the base jumper, but not in these soft conditions.
Yeah, I was just going to say the soft dirt will really make a mess of the landing if you've got only your knees holding onto the seat to try and balance you. And that is typical Torero action right there as he gets a big spin off the bike and gets that audience into it. Great job by Danny Torres. So now it's going to be up to
his job is done. He did as well as he possibly can. If there was any mistakes, they weren't actual mistakes. They're just maybe he could have done the double grab flip, which he probably needed. But now it's all up to David Ronaldo.
Hello, I'm David Ronaldo from France. My best moment in FMX is when I finish my run and without mistake, so I'm pretty proud about myself.
If you look at the right hand and the middle finger of his right hand, he's not holding on to the bar with it. He broke his finger really badly with a compound fracture through the skin last year at the end of a tour that he's participating in. And I mean, he won the championship that year in that tour, but he also broke his hand so significantly, and he hasn't been able to hold on to the bars properly. And he's just incredible that he's still doing these tricks.
California roll by Ronaldo. That's a new one for him, and really is what got him into, I would say, got him straight into this quarterfinal last night from qualifiers. And then the Volt, which is the body varial, and when you just look at it in fast motion like this, it looks like almost exactly the same trick, and especially from where we are, way up here in the hill. But when we look at it in slow motion, we'll be able to break down the small differences in those two tricks.
Well, 2 jumps in already, and he's got 2 big new school tricks, and then the double grab flip.
And
absolutely
like a
incredible.
Double grab heart attack. He really had that thing stretched out. Barely got back on the bike in time, and Ronaldo came to play tonight.
Yeah, and I think that's the advantage here over Danny Torres. He's just attacking this course with everything that he's possibly got.
Wow. And a one-handed takeoff into almost heart attack backflip off the super kicker. So that you'll see a lot of guys do one-handed takeoffs, but they're sitting down, they're into right side up tricks, and Ronaldo really throwing it down here tonight. Great extension there on his last kiss of death. Ronaldo, wow, I have to say, Danny Torres is in trouble because that was a hell of a run.
Let me point something out here, though, Andy. Danny Torres is known for going at these courses fast and clean and smooth and having a very efficient line choice, which he did have. And although he didn't have the bigger tricks that David Ronaldo did, he had 2 extra jumps in his run.
Wow.
I've been counting here. Danny Torres had 8 jumps in his run. David Ronaldo had 6. But he had those 3 big tricks right off the bat. 1, 2, 3.
Right, that's going to be hard to argue with, but 30% more tricks is also hard to argue with.
Yeah, so this is going to be a tough call for the judges, I think, because the extra tricks are going to play a factor into the scoring for Danny Torres. But
well, you have to look at the way that breaks down. Variety will go to Ronaldo.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely has to. Use, of course, has to go to Ronaldo. And there we go. So that was a California roll. He takes off holding on to his rear seat grab handle, and now here for the body varial, the Volt, he actually steps off the side and does a 360.
Oh, and a fist pump as well.
And a one-hander. Wow. You know what? Throwing it in, he had some extra time, and then straight into the double grab heart attack backflip. Barely gets that around, but perfect. And then once again, another huge trick, the seat grab flip, but one-handed standing up takeoff, which is so difficult to do. and then floats back. The holy grab Indian air. What a great run for Ronaldo.
This was really a nice run for Ronaldo, and he had the big tricks in there that I think he'll probably need to move on, but I think it's going to be close because of the extra jumps by Danny Torres.
I mean, energy, just bringing those big tricks, you have to get energy. Variety you have to get, and difficulty you have to get. And Torres with his extra jumps.
Here we go.
Could get use, of course.
So variety, as you said, definitely goes to David Ronaldo.
And that's because he had flip tricks, regular tricks, and varial tricks.
Execution, however, goes to Danny Torres. Here's where it gets interesting.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Danny always.
Oh, style goes to Danny. This may go Danny's way. Let's see.
Wow. Oh, that's
Use
the one.
of
That
course.
was the one that could have been the decider there.
Yeah, so here we go. It's now down to the energy, and Danny played this crowd really, really well.
He did, but he played the crowd after the judging was finished.
Oh, it's David Ronaldo.
And Ronaldo takes it. And that's the thing. We were watching Torres play the crowd, but it was after the judging had finished. So maybe there was a little more Danny could have done during his run to play the crowd and get them pumped. But hey, seeing two varials like that in a row, the crowd was ecstatic.
They were ecstatic. They were off their seats there and enjoying that run from David Ronaldo.
But that's what's so great about this judging system. Even though you throw down the biggest run, it doesn't always mean you're going to win, because it's a very open system. The judges are very available to all the riders after qualifying, before training, after training, even after each event. They have meetings with each riders where the riders can say, what can I do better? And they will break it down so they know exactly what they have to do the next time out in order to tick all 5 of those boxes.
Yeah, and they do this. They absolutely do this. So that's, like we were saying off the top of our show, why this judging system is so spectacularly fair, and the fact that these judges are open and can go, or the riders can go to them and talk to them, makes it such a big difference. So there's the first rider that advances through the head-to-head heats, getting some props from the mechanics and the crew back down in the paddocks. So David Ronaldo will move on to the semifinals, and that's, I think, as far as he has gone in X-Fighters history. And we get our next pairing coming out on the course. Adam Jones will be going up against Rob Adelberg, and there's Adam right there. We're talking about this guy. He is such a fun character, and there we go. That's our battle in quarterfinal number 2 in head-to-head action.
Now I feel like we're going to see the same type of battle we just saw. We're going to see the new school tricks that Adelberg has and the perfect style, execution, and extensions that Adam Jones has.
Yeah, sure.
And it's really going to be that same type of battle. Adelberg's got the gnarly varials, and Jones has that he's been doing this so long and he's so picture perfect.
Well, I've just actually heard that Adam Jones has a problem with his bike. Now, we can point out at this particular juncture that if a rider has a problem with his bike and it's a legitimate mechanical problem, he can call for a timeout. He can say, okay, I need some time to fix my bike, and then he can come back on it. But it looks like everything seems to be okay.
It doesn't look like, I mean, unless he's mentally fixing it right now. I mean, there's nothing worse as a rider having an issue with your bike right before you go out.
Because that's a mind bender.
These are 75 to 100-foot jumps out here, and you do not want to have any. It's so mental, and to be going out there and not be sure on your bike, scary.
What's up? I'm Adam Jones from the United States. I deal with the pressure by just pretending I don't care, telling everybody I don't care, even though I guess I do a little bit.
Adam does care a little bit.
For sure.
He's won one of these tour stops before.
Cairo.
He's ridden more events around the world than maybe anybody, and he's got some of the biggest tricks in the book. But Adam is not bringing the varial tricks out here, so it's going to be a battle of execution like that. The rigor mortis, his own trick, his own spin on the dead body that no one else does like Adam.
Nobody does that.
We love the extension he puts into that trick. So it's going to be perfection on execution versus Adelberg bringing the varials. Bringing the turntable to no-hander. And well, that's one way to capture the show. His memories are going to last. Adam makes his way up to the top of the course. And look at that cliffhanger flip. There's that extension I was talking that Adam can bring. As good as anybody else or better at that trick. He's locking the bars in very low on his shins, which is harder than putting it up by your knees. And then stretches out the Indian air, rock solid. Great line choice by Adam.
Yeah, he's keeping the flow going, which is super important here for the judges.
And really stretches out the kiss of death backflip. Still 15 seconds left. We may get 1 to 2 more jumps out of Adam here.
I have a feeling we're only going to see the one jump out of him because he's opting to go down to this bottom level here.
All right, and the wind is howling right now, actually, so.
Oh,
and
wow.
The stripper backflip for Adam as clock runs to 0. Had a very solid run out of Adam. I think everything was perfectly executed.
Yeah.
No one hates wind more than Adam Jones. And I will tell you, we're sitting in our booth up here in the sky, and there's a lot of wind howling. So
I'm glad we're not on cables. We'd be swinging like we were on a swing set.
We would be. So stoked that Adam made through the run. He put down a very solid, great run, checked as many boxes as he could for the judges.
And something that's also interesting to note here about Adam is that he's been one of those guys that tends to be a little bit mentally fragile, I'll put it that way. When he has a problem with the bike or something's just not working right, he tends to break down a bit. And this time, he really showed a lot of mental fortitude.
I didn't even see that. That was just, sorry to interrupt you.
No
that
worries.
was actually a turntable back to a saran wrap no-hander, which I actually haven't seen him do that in X Fighters.
That's pretty
awesome. So that was a huge combo. And even though it was right side up, that is one of the more difficult things that I've seen here tonight. So great job, Adam. Huge extension, so that execution judge is really going to love that, and the difficulty judge.
And
look at that
right there, the stripper flip, wow.
Really solid, and that's what I love. Adam is continually innovating, even if they aren't the varial tricks that some of these guys are bringing to the table. Going from that turntable into a saran wrap no-hander, I mean, that was a pretty solid, there's a lot smaller way to do that trick, even though he's the only guy I've ever seen do that trick, but he did it with full confidence, even with the wind going on out there. And now it's in the judge's hand.
It's in the judge's hand, and he came down. Dave Butts, our course official down there, gave him a pat on the back. And next up, Rob Adelberg.
I'm Rob Adelberg, and I'm from Australia. When I ride here in the Down Easters Marble Quarry, I'm not going to play marbles.
I'm not laughing because that was funny. I'm laughing
because I don't understand
something was lost in translation there, Adelberg. Well, let's not ride like you're on marbles, buddy, because it is slippery out there. We are on this super slick dirt piled on, really powdery dirt piled on top of sheer rock and slippery rock. So Adelberg starts off, big Cordova flip, nice extension. A lot less rush than what we saw Torres do. Looking forward, chin up, and he held that, which is great.
And this is one of the things that we've seen from Rob in the last few years, since 2012, actually, when he's just gotten a little bit more calm about his riding, a little bit more collected.
And wow, that was a big California roll, and then doesn't hesitate going into just kind of an old school fuzzy hull tabletop action there on the quarter pipe. So he gets the use of course. He doesn't do the 540 or the flare like a lot of these guys are doing, but he still gets the use of course and uses it as a nice transition to get to his next jump, the super kicker. And a nice cliffhanger flip. Gets the feet up on the handlebars like Adam did, but he doesn't quite open up at the hips quite as much as Adam did, but still, very solid trick there for Adelberg.
A lot of time left in this run here.
And he stretches that out to a side saddle lander, and then gets both his feet back over here for kiss of death flip. Very nice landing, 6 seconds left. Is he gonna make it?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. He's hustling, but just about 4 seconds short, but look at that crowd.
Yeah, hey?
I can't believe somehow, I don't know how we do it, but even in a marble quarry outside of Athens, it's still packed here, which is pretty awesome.
Completely sold out. It was sold out in a matter of minutes when they announced it.
Now this is going to be tough because great extension, like I said, out of Adelberg there. And you see the California roll. He takes off holding on. He actually uses a little bump from his rear fender to
Lucky
get it
that
back
fender
on.
was there. There's a few guys that cut that fender off just to leave some room for their feet and their arms, and if it wasn't there, he'd probably be stuck in the back tire.
So old BMX tabletop, and there's something we didn't even notice, the Kiss of Death one-hander. I don't think he even has a name for that kind of yet. He's kind of been messing with that trick. And really stretches. Look, both feet on one side of the bike there as he lands, just like it's nothing, and then finishes off big. Really stretches out. Kiss of Death flip for Rob Adelberg, and this is going to be tight.
Yeah, and I'll mention here that Robbie actually had, because of that that tabletop directly after and his line choice, he's got 8 jumps in this run, as opposed to Adam Jones' 6.
And that's something that, if there's one knock against Adam Jones that I can say right now, and I'm sure he'll be listening later. So Adam, remember that use of course. That's 20% of your mark. So even if you're not flaring the quarter pipe like we just saw Adelberg do, he hit it, which means he gets that use of course point. Yeah. And I know that one bit him in Munich before.
Rob Adelberg gets variety. Execution also goes to Robbie. Use of course. Ooh, Adam Jones takes use of course. Well, there you go. Lesson learned beforehand.
Wow, that really surprises me.
Energy goes to Adam Jones. Wow, this is another close battle. Style.
Man, that's tight because they both rode so well and so extended.
85.5 to 5. Oh, wow, just 0.5 points different. And Robbie Adelberg will move on to the semifinal.
And Adelberg finished in 3rd last night, and he said earlier that he'd be stoked just to finish on the podium again tonight. So, well on his way. And based on the judges' system, I'm not sure how Adam got use of course without, with less jumps and not using the quarter pipe, but hey, the judges are the judges, and you know what, just great run from both of them.
We're going to head down to the paddocks with Ronnie Renner, our sideline reporter. He's with David Ronaldo right now, who's moving on to the quarterfinals, or semifinals, excuse me. Ronnie?
Awesome run in that first qualifier against Danny Torres, moving on to the next round. How do you feel?
Super proud about myself, super happy. It's my first semi-final here, so I already have my best result so far. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to finally advance to the semi-final, and hard work pay off, so happy.
Well, he's a happy dude right there, and that's cool. Out of 10 times here, first time to the semi-final, but he's obviously been putting the work in at home, in the foam pit, Cali roll, body varial, and this, which I was super impressed with, the one-handed takeoff, Superman C-grab backflip. So Ronaldo putting in the work, and it's paying off.
All right, next heat up is Levi Sherwood going up against Clinton Moore.
Well, we said it at the top of the show, but this was our final
in Mexico.
2 months ago. So has Levi brought something new to the table? And is Clinton going to ride as well as he rode last night?
We'll see. Up first, Levi Sherwood.
Hey, I'm Levi Sherwood from New Zealand. This was a big quarry, and I'm excited for the open space.
All right, here we go. Levi Sherwood going to start off his quarterfinal run here. He's got 20 seconds to get himself in position and start his run. The minute he hits the ramp, his 75-second time will start. And here we go. First jump up. Wow. That's taking it to a new
cool.
different.
And it looks, they started his time, so I'm not sure with that, but they're a huge upside knack. I say it every time, but one of my favorite tricks on tour. It's just so creative and so just next level of Levi to be doing that trick. I love it ever since he debuted doing that. And then he goes right in. Oh, we're so far away. That looked like a C-grab backflip.
Hard to tell from this angle.
Kind of hard. Possibly executioner backflip.
The cable cam that we saw it from was fantastic, but we just didn't get the angle, so we'll have to wait for the replay on that one.
And really kind of slow. That's why.
Oh,
look at that, the transfer Superman backflip, and that's something you're going to have to see to believe in slow motion. I was wondering why he was kind of setting up so slowly, but that's why. I mean, that is such a new trick, and Levi, not always known for being a progressor in these, let's say, quote-unquote new school tricks. That is next level.
Yeah, absolutely. And Levi, you know, he really wants to progress and jump up with the other guys, and he, you know, he's going to have to bring these tricks more often.
The turntable to finish out his run, and Levi, very solid run out of him. That was a tough line choice, I have to say, and I know his time started about 10 seconds maybe earlier. I'm not sure if he was planning on his time starting when he hit that kind of double step-up line.
The problem is once these guys take the wheels off the ground with their jump, their time starts.
Right.
So that was, you know, you got to think about all these different factors that play a role, but if you count that first step-up set, he's got 6 jumps in this run, so it was a solid run. Let's take a look back at it here.
Solid run, and let's see. Look at that extension, as big as we've ever seen that trick done. And he's really the only guy that does that with any style at all. That was a double grab flip that we couldn't see from the cable cam there. So really extends it in here. Transfer.
And look at the distance he's going.
Superman, and he is going over about 35 plus feet and landing in a different direction than he's flipping. I mean, it's just incredible. And the dead body flip stretches that out. Perfect execution. And then there, finishes up, big turntable. And then just...
This last one, by the way, didn't count. That was outside of the judges' timing, but it was a nice fist pump for the audience.
And really, the only knock against that run is he didn't get very many jumps in, which, depending on the way Clinton rides...
Clinton Moore up next.
Hey, I'm Clinton Moore. I'm from Australia. Chasing my kids around is harder than riding my bike.
I know that.
Yeah, I think we all know that one. Get a nice look here.
Just finish your thought there, depending on how Clinton rides.
Yeah, well, I think, what did he get? 6 tricks there. So, you know, if Clinton does the same amount of tricks, it's going to be very close. But if Clinton gets 8 tricks plus his varials that he does, the Bundy, the Cali roll, it starts off big.
There it is.
The Bundy, which is just a take on an old trick, the Electric Doom, that was never really landed to dirt, and he just really looks great. Spins around flat spin on that 540. Clinton. And he gets out of there in a hurry, too. A lot of guys land and kind of bounce. Clinton just pins it. He is not messing around. So we're already 3 jumps in, and we're not even 30 seconds deep.
Not even. Clinton's racing this course with all sorts of skill and style. 3.6, nice.
360, nice and just lazy, fluid. And when I say lazy, that's a good thing. Not like he's not trying, but he just looks like he's not trying.
Yeah, it just makes it look so easy and natural and flowy.
And Clint gets the flip levers up so he can get a little extra leverage on the bike when he flips it out for this kiss of death. Presses back with his forearms against those levers there in order to get the bike under him. Still 20 seconds left, and we get the live energy judging graphic up there. That's Jason Moriarty. And Clinton Moore is already above Sherwood with that, and he gets the vault. And such a crazy angle on that jump.
Yeah,
it looks like
so
he's going
crazy.
straight into the wall of marble. And Moore is going to run out of time before this last jump here, so hopefully he just takes it easy.
This one's for the audience and for him as much as anything, and that's going to be it for him. But I will say, the last jump doesn't count. That's confirmed. There's no way that that's going to count, and he's got 6 tricks. But look at the difference between the tricks between him and Levi Sherwood. I think we're going to see the same result here as we saw at the final in Mexico. It's going to be a tough call, though, because Sherwood has execution down pat. So now it's going to be up to the judges here. And, boy, I'm looking forward to seeing how this one rolls out.
That's just such a tough call. Let's take a look through and see if we can see anything here. So there, the Bundy.
Wow.
What, I mean,
that's just bananas.
I'm not sure how you even get that pop to do that. And then straight into that, just very straight up and down 540, and then he pins it out of there. Double grab Indian Air.
judges are going to have a really hard time with this pairing as well because, like I said, you know, the execution from Levi Sherwood is definitely there, but the new school tricks and the sheer variety of the new school tricks is definitely on
I mean,
on
just
Adalbert's
the Bundy
side,
on its
or
own
Clinton Moore's
is
side, excuse me.
The Bundy on its own is so gnarly, but don't forget Sherwood Superman transfer flip.
That is massive.
There's a few guys doing the varials, a bunch of guys doing the vaults, a few guys doing special flips. No one is doing that transfer flip, and then to add that variation of the Superman, I mean, that puts it right up there at the top of any trick being done these days. So once again, I'm glad I'm sitting up here with you, Troy, and not down in the judges' hot spot.
I can't even imagine the pressure on these judges at the moment. It's taking a little bit longer to get the results here.
Well, I wonder why. I mean, that is just so difficult. There, you see everyone working hard.
Clinton obviously feeling good about things. Levi, always with a smile on his face.
Smile and a mullet. I love it.
And a mullet.
Man after my own heart.
Business up front, party in the back.
Oh.
Yeah, Alvaro, I feel your pain, buddy.
Oh, man, those are some long faces over there.
And that is a lot of work up there for these guys after this really spectacular pair of runs.
Wow. Yeah, that is just a real tough one.
If I had to guess, and if I were in the judging seat, I would say I'd probably give it to Clinton Moore for the sheer fact that he had 3 big new school tricks in there. The Bundy, the Volt, plus that flare. All of them done really nicely. I mean,
yeah, it's I think that's what it comes down to, unfortunately, right now with the judging. And I'm not saying I agree or disagree. All I'm saying is this is what is happening. And we could tell from Mexico the way these guys were judged, and then in qualifying last night the way that they were judged. They're starting to lean towards you need to do these varials. Tom Pages has changed the sport, and there was a space in the last 18 months where you could ride like Levi and not be doing the varials and still have a chance at winning. But based on what I saw in Mexico with the judging and what we saw last night, your chance of winning without doing a couple of these varial type tricks or the transfer flip like we saw to Levi, it's a real difficult thing. No matter how good you ride, you need those tricks.
You remember a couple of years ago, Levi Sherwood showed up at the event in Dubai and said, hey, listen, guys, I'm not doing any flip tricks today. I'm not feeling it. He took the flip levers off his bike to literally force himself to stay upright. He was up against, I forget who it was exactly, and
he took the win.
He took the win in a game where flips were were the norm. You had to have a mega amount of flips in your run, and he took the win there by sheer fact that he executed each of his jumps perfectly. All right, here we go.
Clinton energy.
Yeah, that one was clear, right?
Yeah.
Execution, there we go. Talking about the execution goes to Levi Sherwood.
I totally see that. Style is tough. I mean, I think
style, Levi as well.
You know what? I see that though. I mean, he's so stylish when he rides.
Clinton Moore gets course use, of course.
That's a tight one there too, because Levi did use the quarter pipe. He just transfer flipped it.
Oh, Clinton Moore gets it. He moves on to the semifinal. So he's one step closer to where he ended up in Mexico City. Big battles coming up ahead, though.
Wow. That is just so tight.
But that was probably, I'm going to say that was probably one of the more evenly matched battles here tonight.
That could have gone either way.
Exactly, from a couple of perspectives. They both had 6 jumps in their run. They both had really well executed tricks, but I think the difference maker for Clinton in this case was the fact that he included that trick right there, the Bundy, as well as the Volt, as well as the flare. So that was a really good run from Clinton Moore. And now down to our quarterfinal number 4. This is going to be a highlight quarterfinal because one of these 2 fantastic riders, Thomas Pages or Josh Sheehan, is going to be eliminated from competition tonight.
That's crazy to me that we're going to lose Pages or Sheehan in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely bananas. But this is a final, basically, in the quarterfinal. This is the quality of these riders here. So Tom Pages will be going up against Josh Sheehan as we look at a clearly disappointed Levi Sherwood in the paddocks there. So our first rider out here will be Thomas Pages.
Hello, I'm Thomas Pages from France. It's a new location here in Greece. It's time to write new FMX history.
Well, Tom came to ride and write, and he's already written history in round number 1. If you didn't catch it and you saw the recap, alley-oop flare.
Yeah. And this is where he does it right off the hop.
And he starts off hard and fast here. It's just hang on.
Oh, he's got it again. And you can see how powdery and fluffy that dirt is. You were mentioning it earlier. It's just like almost like a resi pit for safety jumps.
And a 75-foot 360, just nice, slow, lazy, looking so good. And the only thing Tom's gonna have to fight against here is keeping his emotions under control, because he gets so crazy out there sometimes because he's so pumped up. He lives off the adrenaline of the crowd.
Whoa! Huge transfer.
Wow. That is so cool. I was wondering where he was going there. And we saw him try this last night, and he does it.
Oh, my goodness.
Dirt flare.
The dirt flare.
He didn't even come close last night. And you know what? Tom doesn't care. He goes for it. And now he's lining up again. Look at that. Check it out. Make sure he's in first gear. What's he got now? The bike flip.
The bike flip. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Flare, a bike flip. Oh my God, Tom.
And he's still got a couple of seconds left, although I'm not sure he's going to make this one. Maybe he will. Maybe he will.
We're going to have to check with Brody to see if this counts or not, but...
the special flip. You're kidding me. You are kidding me.
This is only the quarterfinal, and yes, the special flip does count, and that is just... wow.
That is wow.
Right,
There's no
like
other words for it. That is wow.
He's planning on rewriting FMX history tonight. That was only a quarterfinal. I know we're supposed to save the best for last, but it's impossible with that.
Oh my God. And by the way, 7 tricks in this run.
Those weren't tricks. Those were nuclear bombs out there, Troy. I mean, look at what Tom just did as he gets some congratulations from Dane there. Let's check this out. Alley-oop flare. Look at this. Twisting against the rotation of the jump. Incredible.
Again. That is just nutty how he does that.
And it's so blind as he comes around, which is incredible. Really, really laid out 360. Everything he throws with just the hardest that he can throw it. And then here's that dirt takeoff flare.
This is for me the only rub. He landed it a little bit hard sideways, but he got right on the gas, as you said, and then nice.
Bike flip. I mean, no one else is doing that. No one else is even trying that trick. And look at that. He has to get around that front wheel, suck his shoulder in, get onto it, and just nails it. And to finish it off, oh, hey, let's just throw a special flip.
Folks, that bike flip, by the way, that's a BMX trick. You have to imagine, a BMX is 1/10 the weight of one of these motorcycles.
There's only a few guys in BMX that can do it on a 20-pound bicycle.
Yeah, not even. I don't even think they're 20 pounds now anymore. All right, so the next rider is Josh Sheehan. I mean, if there's anybody that can take him down, it's this man right there.
Hey, I'm Josh Sheehan from Australia. This is a big quarry, and I'll have to dig deep if I want to win.
Oh, man.
Man, as the night goes on, the jokes
just
go
getting worse and worse, huh? That's what my mom would call a groaner.
You can't help but laugh with that mustache, that cookie duster going on he's got. And Josh Sheehan, he's going to absolutely have to dig deep. As he starts off big. Big kiss of death backflip. We know Josh has the double backflip. I think this guy's done more double backs than anybody. And so gets the Indian Air flare. So pretty impressive there. And Josh comes around. Holy grab. Oh, no.
That was a bit of a mistake right there. Did he stall the bike? No, he didn't stall the bike.
The bike's okay, but you don't want to have those small mistakes up against a perfect jump. And it kind of plays into your head a little bit. You see him getting a little off course. just panic rev in that 360 around. Even
Really
though
did panic rev it. You could hear that
he
thing all the
made
way
it
up here.
perfectly, but he was about an inch from landing off the side of the jump there. It should be a double.
Oh my goodness, it's insane how solid he is with those.
Nice, Josh Ian.
Oh boy.
Wow, you see the live, even a double backflip's going to be tough to get up to Pejez's level of live judging.
Was that a double grab flip?
I think that was just a regular C-grab flip.
Okay. 4 seconds, 3, 2. I don't think he's going to make this last jump. Or is he? Oh, it might count. It very well might count. We'll have to get a final call on that one.
Stripper flip for Sheehan. That's a newer one for Josh in his repertoire. That, as you see him, Tom, usually you might be worried if Josh Sheehan just put down that run, but unfortunately for Josh, no matter what he just did, and he did perfection, with what Tom did, I don't know that he can beat him. Let's take a look here.
Last chick will count, by the way, so he's got 7 jumps in his run as well. Wow. Flare Indy.
Flare Indy, great amplitude, good extension. As you see floating off that holy grab. Oh, there he landed deep, and I think he kicked the bike into neutral. And for 360 knacks, that was an upside 360 knack. Really, actually, great extension for that trick. And here we go, the double. He is Mr. Double backflip now.
Yeah, I mean, he shows up to events and he can just pull a double backflip like it's nothing, and the ramp is there for him, you know? And it used to be the guys would build the ramp and get all dressed up in heavy-duty equipment just to pull off the double backflip, and it's insane. Everybody knows how dangerous that trick is, and he pulls it like it's a normal run for him.
I mean, it was a double grab flip. You were absolutely right there, Troy. Missed that, so that was solid. And we get to look back, the last trick here, stripper flip on the super kicker. And you know what? Maybe doubles are easy for Josh Sheehan now, because he landed and rode away from the triple backflip only about a month ago. So, hey, double must be just like cake for Josh now.
Tough call here again for the judges, and I think we're going to have long deliberation. Both of these riders had 7 jumps in their run. Both of these guys had a lot of big tricks in their run. Noticeably for Josh Sheehan, of course, was the flare Indy, the double backflip, the stripper flip, I mean, you know, and the double grab backflip. But Thomas Pejez, you know, he had the energy on his side with all those new school tricks, so he's got that first helmet. Second one goes to Thomas as well. Wow, 3 in a row for Thomas. He's going to the semifinal. What is happening here? Oh my goodness, 4 helmets already for Thomas, and he gets the last one for Roddy. It's a shutout. It's a sweep.
And I don't think Josh Sheehan
unbelievable.
Josh Sheehan, as far as I know, has never been swept. He never usually loses, as we take a look back at the bike flip. But I mean, and the run that Josh had, he did everything absolutely perfect. It's just Tom took it up another level. Again.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, and then Thomas is, when he gets into this state and uses these courses as he does, there's no stopping him. Speaking of these courses, if you're just joining us or if you've just joined us for the live program here, we're going to take a quick look at how long and what they had to do in order to build up this great track here in this marble quarry in Athens, Greece. Let's take a look at the building of this track.
Welcome to the massive Dionysus marble quarry here in Athens. The Parthenon temple could fit in this quarry 40 times. It's the biggest freestyle playground for the freestyle motocross riders, and it's the largest course in the 2015 World Tour. It took us 400 mining truckloads of dirt in here and 3 weeks to build this thing. The track is split up on 3 levels, 1, 2, and 3. And each one much bigger than my house. There's lots of jump options here on the track. 2 dirt jumps, 3 quarter pipes, 3 kickers, and 2 super kickers.
All right, well, right now we've got Ronnie Renner down in the paddocks, and I believe he's with Josh Sheehan right now. Let's go down to Ronnie and hear from Mr. Sheehan himself. Ronnie?
Thanks, Troy. I'm down here with Mr. Sheehan. He still got a smile on his face, but that was a rough semifinal, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm happy I did everything right. You know, only one over jump, but just stoked I'm safe. It just sucks that I had to come up against him so early on in the finals. So, yeah, he rode awesome. No, he did everything spot on, perfect. So, you know, happy for him. Bummed to be out early, but hey, I'm healthy and come back next round.
Obviously, Paget is a strong competitor. You think he's got what it takes to win tonight?
Yeah, I think he does. He's got a bunch of those massive tricks and 2 tricks that no one's even willing to try. So, yeah, I think he's got it. Oof, I mean, it'll be tough between him and Clint. Whoever stomps a perfect run, it'll be tough.
Well, we're happy to have you back on tour. This is a great place to come back. How do you feel with that crowd right there?
The crowd is awesome. It couldn't be a better place to come back to. It's an epic setup here in Athens, and, you know, thanks a lot for the crowd and everyone's support. So good to be back.
Good on you, mate.
Thank you.
Renner getting a little bit of his Aussie on there. Good on you, mate.
Yeah. All right, well, look at this fantastic crowd. As I said earlier on, it's sold out, 10,000 strong here in the quarry, the Dionysus Quarry in Athens, Greece, as we look at our semifinal lineup. And it's going to be Rob Adelberg going up against Clinton Moore in heat number 1 in the semifinal head-to-head. And then David Ronaldo going up against Thomas Pages in semifinal heat number 2. Time will change a little bit for the next semifinal. The semifinal will have 90 seconds for the runs there. And so that will factor into how much more these guys can use the course, Andy.
Yeah, they're going to have to reorganize their trick list. You see Tom Pages there. What he's doing is he's actually writing down his trick list on his bar pad. Most of these guys do this because there's just so many tricks to have memorized, and we've all hit our heads a lot to memorize stuff. But he's going to write down the order of the tricks he's going to do. Let's cheat up a little bit here on him. Alley-oop. We're going to have to check his spelling. 360 and then flare. That's not... Oh, what's he got there? Flare on the dirt, I think.
He could be a doctor.
Yeah, he's definitely got doctorate. I don't know how he knows what that says as he's riding, but yeah. 90 seconds. They were getting between 6 and 8 jumps with the 75 seconds, so they could get another 1 to 2 jumps, possibly even 3 if they plan it right. As we've got the Battle of Australia coming up first, and then the Battle of France.
Yeah, Rob Adelberg going up against Clinton Moore, and Adelberg will be the first to ride here.
All right, so Adelberg's going to start up top. Starting off strong. Cordova flip, just the same way he started his last run, so he may have just added a couple tricks to the end so that he remembers his line, because you don't want to get lost out on this huge course.
No, absolutely not. You want to try and use this as much as possible. Wow, there it is.
Alley roll. And you see again, they got the front end a little bit high there, but not too bad. It's all rodeo style up on the quarter pipe. Now, yes, it's not a flare, but at least he uses it, so he gets that use of course.
Yep.
Which is so important.
Clinton Moore there, not really watching the run from Rob Adelberg, and I'm wondering, you know, how many of the guys are in that state where they don't want to see what the other guys do, and they just want to focus on their own run.
Well, at this level right now, and you've got Moore, your number 1 qualifier, and Adelberg, your number 3 qualifier, so they're not that far apart. As Adelberg goes for the side saddle lander. So far, he's kept his tricks all the same, so he must just be adding a couple at the end here. So hopefully he's got a couple big ones. So he finished up with a KOD backflip, and then he's going to work his way up 1 level, back around, now back to the bottom. This is confusing down here. Now the yellow flag waving there signifies 15 seconds to go. Indian air to heel clicker flip. Great extension, and Adelberg.
I guess he's a little bit pumped up there, hey?
Hey, you know what? I think he's pretty pumped up. And And the funny thing is, this is within his time because he stopped a little bit early. So maybe, just maybe, that energy judge, Jason Moriarty, is going to give him a little nod for that. Because instead of taking one more, instead of maybe not getting to another jump, he said, forget it, I'm just going to go high five the Greek fans.
Yeah, and why not? Enjoy your time here.
Look at
Have
that.
fun, and he had a great run.
California
Come on, who's kidding?
roll. And there he uses that rear fender to get, I like his style there, use it to get back on.
This is actually what we saw Danny Torres doing quite a lot of on the quarter pipes. He hasn't gotten into the flare aspect of it yet, but you know, he's been transferring with some big tabletops, and Rob doing the same thing. It seems to be working for him. Why not?
Yeah, and you saw he was a little short there, so he didn't get to poke that cliffhanger out as far as he did in his previous run, but you know, still solid. That's just how air aware these guys are. They're able to tell for the second you take off, even before you take off, they're able to tell, hey, I'm going to be a couple feet short. I got to get back on the bike in a hurry. Because we saw last night Javier Villegas came up about 3 feet short, and in this powdery dirt, it just bucked him right off.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a high side that isn't painful, even in this soft dirt, though.
No, and Clinton, saw him earlier in the rider's pit. He was looking kind of buff these days. I think he's taken after Josh Sheehan and been putting some work in at the gym. Or maybe it's just all the bench pressing his kids or something as he chases them around.
Well, clearly Clinton Moore is motivated this year to do well, and it's showed as he came out strong in Mexico and beat Levi Sherwood in the final. He manages to get by Levi Sherwood again here tonight into this semi, and he's up against Rob Adelberg, who's had a very good run as we look into the paddocks there. And again, there's that mental preparation that you talked about in the Keys to the Win, and we see Thomas Pages really working through his run in his mind, physically doing the movements, and Clinton Moore coming up for his semi-final run here. Remember, 90 seconds, so probably enough time to get in 1 or 2 extra jumps in the run compared to the quarterfinal, which was 75 seconds long.
Clinton so far had 2 perfect runs. Can he put a third one together? Started off big with the dead body flip.
Yeah, wow, nice.
Really nice execution. Got his legs straightened out at the hips. It's about as far as you can extend that trick, so.
Really flat on that flare as well.
Yeah, he's got a different style than a lot of the guys. On that, he really spins it straight up and down. Double grab Indy.
Just looking out the window here, I mean, I can't see him. This course is just so epically large.
It is, and he throws down a perfect 360. So now he's working his way on up 2 levels. It's almost like 60 feet back up to the top of the course here.
Anyway.
Flips up the flip lever, so something big's coming. Kiss of death flip.
Nice and smooth on the landing as well.
More, and he still's got a little bit of time left. 20 seconds. And we know we need to see that Bundy. Ah, the bolt.
Oh.
And that is such a crazy camera angle there. Now, I'm wondering if he, this is where he's gonna go for it. And all right, he's in. Not a lot of time there. Oh, just a turn down.
Wow,
or just
interesting
a big whip.
choice
Not even
here.
a turn down, just a whip. And so we didn't see the Bundy out of him.
No, but he's still got about 20 seconds left in the run. If I'm correct here.
I think he's done.
Heavy
I
landing.
think I saw a red light there, a red flag waving. So yeah.
Okay, I can't see the clock down here, but yeah, it looks
no,
like
that
he's
says,
done.
the clock says 20 seconds. It's
to
the next
start.
guy.
Yeah, okay,
So,
now I understand.
Now that's one of 2 things. Either he didn't feel comfortable doing it, or he felt like he had Adelberg beat without doing it and is going to save it for the final.
Which is a strategy that's a possibility.
Which is, I mean, that Bundy is one of the, I would have to, he's the only guy doing that trick. The only guy I've ever seen land that trick to dirt the way he does it. So, look at that extension, dead body flip. So, maybe he wanted to save it. Maybe he didn't feel 100% comfortable with it.
Really like the style on this flare, though. Like you were mentioning the other day, it gets really, really flat.
So going double grab Indy there over the super kicker. Really lays that 3 out. And you know what? Some guys do their 3s just like a little off-axis backflip, but that's a legitimate 360 there, which I like to see. I don't sometimes, you know, you got to call a spade when it's not right. Even if I can't do it, it's my job to call it out. And there's the Volt. Good style. He had time. Felt very comfortable. I'm not sure, you know, obviously the whip was in time. So this is going to be tight.
All right, well, let's see how this battle of Australia goes down. If it boils down to Adelberg moving to the final or Moore moving to the final. Here we go.
Love the camaraderie between all these guys. It's such a cool bunch of
Moore
dudes.
gets that first helmet.
Execution.
Adelberg, he's in the mix. Style goes to Moore.
Looks like Adelberg took a little digger on his forehead there. I'm sure there's a good story behind that one.
And course use goes to Clinton Moore. That means Clinton is moving on to the final with 4 helmets, which include the energy judge, to 1 helmet for Adelberg.
Now, I think I'm right in saying before Mexico, I don't think Clinton Moore had ever made the semifinals. And now 2 finals in a row.
Yeah, this is his second final in so many events. That's pretty impressive. And we go to our next heat here in the semifinal between David Ronaldo and Thomas Pages. And in fact, I believe these 2 Frenchmen have never battled against each other yet. So,
well, like Ronaldo said in that interview earlier, this is his first semifinal ever. Yeah. I mean, he's already has his best result, so he's pumped. And there's always a chance, not usually at beating Tom Pages, but Tom Pages beating himself.
That's the
because
thing.
What he's doing is so next level and so gnarly that there's always a chance that he gets it wrong. Like we saw last night, he got it wrong twice on that alley-oop flare.
And Thomas will ride first here tonight by virtue of coming out of round 1. He's got to be the guy that rides first in each of these head-to-head matches, as he takes a quick loop around to blow out the bike and say hi to the crowd here in Athens. So Thomas Pages working here in the semifinal to try and get enough points from our judging panel to get into another final. And he's got David Ronaldo, who also has a significant list of new school tricks, though. So like you say, it's about Thomas not beating himself in this semifinal run.
Well, and we know Tom is going to start big. On the alley-oop flare here, you see him with that left foot kicking the bike into first gear. I can't even. You know, he's got to hustle, and this is a place where Tom can get into trouble because he's going to be riding on pure aggression and adrenaline right now.
And this is where we don't want him to get a little bit out of sorts, because that's where he can injure himself. We don't want him to do that at all.
No, and okay, so he's got the first jump out of the way. The good thing I have to say is he's on the 252 stroke. And now you see he skipped
the dirt. Yeah, that's smart decision on his part.
Great decision, and he can recover from this. He can recover. He lost about 12 seconds or so, I'd say, on the ground. But his heart rate probably is over 200 beats a minute right now, so he's just got to keep that down. He stretches out the flat line Indian air there, like only Tom can, but he's still got time on the clock.
Yeah, the important thing for Thomas now is not to panic. He's got to keep it together, let that adrenaline be his friend as opposed to his enemy in this case.
And the special flip,
that's just too easy for him these days.
Nails it. But he's not, David Ronaldo is no slouch, and he's got a lot of these tricks in his arsenal.
He's got to get on this now.
And the Cali roll, so he's going to have to do, making sure he's in first gear here. And the bike flip, this will be the decider, and he does it!
He does it! Fantastic! Wow. The bike flip, an amazing trick here. mistake right out of the gate, but he came back strong, and this is the Thomas Pagès that we needed to see here. Not the guy who takes all of his anger out on the course, but the guy who can settle it back and push it through and really ride a solid run after making a mistake early on.
Wow, look at that crowd there, and they are loving it, and it's so difficult. I can tell you from being a rider in the past and being in a position where you crash right away, your heart rate just goes through the roof, and you're just like, oh man, what did I do? And so he didn't really do anything wrong there. He just landed in a foot of powder, basically. Look at this. And he just sinks in, and he just pushes that front wheel out. Really nothing that he did. And now, if he does go through to the finals, he's going to have to deal with that big bomb hole he just made himself.
Yeah.
And then, so making a good call, hitting the ramp quarter pipe, not the dirt quarter pipe, brings
Best
that
choice
around.
he could have made in
you know
this
what?
case.
And that's showing maturity, and then just hucks that bike. And we haven't talked about that bike tonight, but that bike is something around 15 kilos lighter than a normal bike. He's got all sorts of carbon fiber and titanium on that bike, an extra small gas tank. And because he crashed last night, he broke his subframe, his pipe, his silencer, his handlebars, his flip lever. So he said, luckily I was coming from X Games, I had extra parts. But the bad thing is, I'm out of extra parts now, so I can't crash tonight,
There's no more messing around
I'm
anymore.
screwed. So this is going to be tough, and Ronaldo's going to have to throw down. He didn't get it handed to him like it looked like he might.
Well, Ronaldo, like you were saying, is absolutely no slouch. So Ronaldo, he's got the California roll. Ronaldo can do the volts. He is using the quarter pipe. He's got all the tricks.
Double grab backflip.
Double grab backflip
and not
as well.
just a double grab flip, like a double heart attack backflip.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
California roll right out the gate.
And
long on the landing,
real long. And that's what Pagès was saying last night. He said, for some reason, my bike's got more power here than it does at home, which is the exact opposite of Mexico City. There's the bolt. Gets a little crossed up. Must be a little windy down there as we feel the wind whipping through our booth up here. But
happy to have a bit of fresh air up here.
Yeah, this is a tough job up here. You're getting tired watching these guys ride.
Yeah, it's terribly not exciting. But David Ronaldo, there it is, the double grab backflip.
Double grab backflip. It just stomps the landing. And look at that marble dust that they're riding in. Standing one-handed takeoff on the super kicker into a flip C-grab Indian air. That is a mouthful right there of combinations. There's about 5 different things happening.
Well, I mean, David Ronaldo is one of those combo kids. He's got so many variations on these tricks that he can throw out there in combination with each other that it's just hard to keep up with some of those tricks sometimes.
And the holy grab floating back.
Wow, he's got a lot of jumps going on in this with still 15 seconds to go.
Yeah,
I'm not counting these ones, but he's
this looks like the most jumps we've seen anybody get tonight.
I think he might have 10 jumps in this one. This is insanity.
Oh, he was so close to getting this one, but...
Yeah, this last one I'm pretty sure won't count. Little sideshow, the side saddle lander, and it's been confirmed it's not going to count. So this is a good battle by virtue of Thomas crashing that very first trick, the alley-oop flare. It could be a deciding factor in favor of David Ronaldo, who had pretty much a perfect run.
Well, let's think through the categories here. Once again, use of course, I'm going to guess, goes to Tom because of the quarter pipes. Difficulty as we walk through there, the California roll. Wow, he kicks the bar a little bit with his right foot. Difficulty, I think, is pretty close, but I think Pagès will get that again.
We should have a fighting through injury judge as well, you know, because he's got that,
he's got that hand
finger on his right hand that's just mangled.
Just letting it fly there, Ronaldo. Now that one didn't count. That was just for the crowd. And Ronaldo put down a very solid run, and this is going to be really tough for the judges. But once again, it's not judged on overall impressions.
Yeah,
so
that's the important part here, I
And it's
think.
so hard to remember that here because you get excited about one guy's run, then you get excited about the other guy's run. But you got to remember, are they checking each one of the 5 boxes? And even with a crash like that, that man right there, the eternal comedian, he's very rarely have I never seen him not smiling.
Well, yesterday before the qualification round, he looked nervous, and we saw it happen in the qualification round. He crashed. Pages gets energy right off the bat.
And we knew that one because it was showed live on the screen. And
execution goes to David with a bullet.
Wow, okay.
Thomas, style, of course.
Thomas has just got styles for days.
Oh, Thomas is going to the final with 3 helmets, and variety also belongs to Thomas. So David Ronaldo gets execution, variety, course, style, and the other one I forgot there was all Thomas Pages. So Thomas will move on to a final here in the 2015 season, his first final this year. So a great job by Thomas Pages to come back in that run after this, or not this is the bike flip, but after the crash on the alley-oop flare, to collect himself and show a little bit of mental strength and maturity, like you said, Andy, and just coming by and... all right, so it sounds like we're going to go to our head judge, Brody Hendrickson, and just get a last-minute heads up and a quick call on that last heat we just saw. Brody?
How you doing, guys? Can you hear me?
We got you, Brody. What happened there in the last run?
Well, Thomas went down, but with the crash, he basically had put it wells down. And he quite clearly had won the 4 categories. The execution score did go to David. He definitely won that category. And we gave the win to Thomas based on him having such a strong run in the 4 categories that he did win.
Well, that's the great thing about this judging system is you could even crash and still take home the win as long as, you know, like Brody just said, he landed on the wheels. It was more the dirt that made him crash than a mess up in the trick.
That's right.
And you know what? Hey,
clearly the judges took that into factor when they looked at the final count there for Thomas Pages. So there we go. Moore will go up against Pages in the final. Let's take a look at some of the final facts here. In the coming final, we will have 120 seconds, 2 minutes in the head-to-head action. And again, the guys are going to have to win 3 of the 5 category, but the difference here after the final, the winner will get 100 points to their overall score. So this is going to be a very good battle between Clinton Moore and Thomas Pages. Again, head-to-head, 120 seconds, win 3 of the 5 categories, the winner getting 100 points. Folks, if you're just joining us, we're getting ready for final action here at the Red Bull X Fighters from the Dionysus Marble Quarry in Athens, Greece. Look at the crowd here, Andy. I mean, they're loving it. 10,000 people strong, a sold-out arena here. And we've been driven from the gates to our area here, which is at least a 2.5 to 3 kilometer long stretch of road. These folks, not allowed to drive cars in. There's no buses for them. They walked. That's how motivated these people in the audience were. They walked those 3 kilometers to get to these seats.
First time for Red Bull X Fighters in Greece, and what an epic location. I mean, the sheer size as you look at kind of this wide angle shot here, and you kind of see like each one of those walls is 50 feet high.
Yeah.
40 to 50 feet high, and we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 deep in this quarry, and this is the small part of the quarry.
This is the small quarry, that's right. Absolutely, and we heard Dane Heron earlier explaining during the track build-up process that it took them 3 weeks to to build in here, and the sheer size is that they could fit 40 Parthenons. It would take 40 Parthenons to fill this quarry from top to bottom. That is immense.
Yeah, this place is absolutely huge, and it's just so cool to see how into this the Greek fans are. And we got all the guys that didn't make it to the finals out here just doing a nice little train show, and we can't quite see it, but off to our right there from this shot is actually the Riders Lounge, which is in a cave of marble with 40-foot high ceilings. You go back there, and it's like the most expensive room in the world, probably.
Yeah, I think 40 feet is a little bit soft. All right, let's take a look at our bracket. We've seen these guys go through the semifinals, and now we're into final action. Thomas Pagès will go up against Clinton Moore. It's France versus Australia for the final here at the Red Bull X-Fighters, Athens, Greece. The first time ever in Greece for this event. And I'll tell you what, Red Bull Greece has done an epic job of setting it up here and doing a really fantastic organization for this event. And I really hope that we can come back and do something similar in the future here, because it is really spectacular.
Well, speaking of spectacular,
this head-to-head battle.
I feel like we've seen this before once. And the funny thing is Clinton Moore took the win that time.
Yep. First rider up, Thomas Pagès.
It's time to go.
All right, so Thomas has got to recollect himself. It's not been very long since that crash in the semifinal. He wants to do the same run again, but the difference here is the guys have 2 minutes, and he's got to take that into factor. A lot of time. He doesn't need to rush. He needs to throw down the tricks he knows he can do calmly. Here we go, starting it off.
And he done it perfectly. Absolutely stopped.
Absolutely perfect alley-oop flare. Clinton Moore doesn't want to watch. Here we go.
Throws on the 360, and you know what? That's what I love about Tom. He puts his previous runs out of his mind, and he's starting fresh each time, it seems. And the getting
flare,
up
Superman
flare. He really is getting those feet up above the bike. Absolutely.
And the control aspect on that is just absolutely bananas. Just a beautiful start to this run from Thomas Pagès. That's going to put a lot of pressure on Clinton Moore as he throws out a beauty of a flatliner Indy.
And Clinton isn't watching. He's visualizing his own run. As you see Tom just have a tiny mistake of missing a gear and having to slam back into first gear there. But even if Clinton isn't watching, he can hear the crowd react. And that is definitely going to be in his head as the special flip.
And he almost didn't get that right foot back on board the peg. Mamma mia! Wow. And a ton of time left in this run still.
Something different here they did last second is added this up. Instead of 90 seconds, it's 120 seconds. And here we go, the bike flip.
Oh no! He has to roll away from it, but he's still got tons of time.
He's got tons of time, and we just saw in his last run, you can make a small mistake.
The question is now, Andy, knowing that he's got 2 minutes now, a ton of time left, does he go back and try and do the bike flip again, or does he continue on with his run as planned?
It looks to me like he's just going to continue on. I don't know if he got twisted up at all there.
He seems okay.
I mean, wow. He just made it so difficult on the judges, because if he would have landed that, it might have been a pretty clear-cut decision. But you know what? Tom showing some maturity there in not, let's call it spazzing out and just hucking himself into getting hurt or doing something. But he knows right there, you know what? Big mistake.
Big mistake.
But he already had the special flip, had the alley-oop flare, and I think he's a little sore maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean, he got hucked off that bike and rolled head first down the hill. You know, he had to do the old tuck and roll to get down the hill. So he might have twisted himself a little bit, but he managed to keep the run going as we take a look back at the run from the beginning with the alley-oop flare. Andy, just spectacular. Great start to his run.
Wow, he just nailed that, and then he really kicks out that Superman flare. He's getting up almost tsunami style. I know that's what he's going for. Look at that. I mean, he can only stretch it out quickly, but look at that back end whip through. And then just hanging off the side of the motorcycle there. That is just style for days. Special flip, just perfect poise, coming in blind, grabs the grab handle with his right hand, and here's where it all went wrong.
Yeah, he just didn't get himself over.
And honestly, nothing was wrong with that. I think he might have thought he was a hair short or something, but it didn't look any different than the other two we've seen him do tonight. So
no, he just didn't get that that left foot over the frame of the bike. One more angle on it here, maybe? Yep. Watch that left foot of his.
Yeah, it's so tough to even see because no one else has ever done that. So it's so difficult to even say what went wrong there. Yeah. We'll have to ask him. I'm sure Ronnie Renner will get maybe the story from him down in the pits. But now...
All right, well, now it's up to Clinton Moore to put down a perfect run. This could be an opportunity for 2 in a row for Moore.
All or nothing, just want to keep it on the 2 wheels.
Well, he's going to need to here.
That may be all it takes.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
To do this, and you know what? He has the momentum. Before Mexico City, he'd never made it to a semifinal. Now 2 finals in a row, and he's looking good. Starts it off huge with the Bundy. Wow, and these guys are so confident at these gnarly tricks they're doing to start off an alley-oop flare and a Bundy.
And the flare is beautiful.
And once again, and you can just see the confidence Clinton has right now.
He's strong, he's solid, his riding is the best it's ever been.
And I have to say, it's from, I mean, you see it with Sheehan and Moore, and they've been out on the Nitro Circus tour. They're riding 80 shows plus a year, and they're not competing like here at X Fighters, but they're putting that time in. Yeah. And there's Sheeny there. Just take a look at his buddy, Clinton Moore. And you just see the confidence that these guys are riding with.
Wow, what a fantastic KOD flip.
And you have to remember, once again, you're not seeing the backflips out of Tom Pages either. So, variety-wise, even though he's got so many, the vault to I don't think we have ever seen that, Troy, in competition or anywhere.
Not at all.
That is
incredible.
Confidence.
That is supreme confidence.
Oh,
but you know what?
Clinton Moore is here to win.
Clinton Moore still had a ton of time on the clock as well when he did that. Now 35 seconds to go, and he is killing this run right now.
Wow, he is absolutely here to win, and he doesn't care he's up against Tom Pages. He throws it big off the super kicker. He's got the super kicker. He's got the quarter pipes. He's got the flip tricks, the spin tricks, the varial tricks.
He's just got it all right now.
The whip. And he still has 12 seconds to go here, Troy.
That is incredible from Clinton Moore.
To knock Tom Pages down tonight with the perfection we've been seeing out of him, Clinton Moore is bringing that right now.
And I got to say, even if Tom Pages had landed that bike flip, it might be so close.
And it might not be enough. We see Clinton finish with a dead body flip, because that is such a big thing. We forget with all that crazy varial stuff and spinning stuff Tom is doing, he is not doing a single backflip.
And by the way, I think Clinton Moore had 1 or 2 extra jumps in his run because of that crash of Thomas Pages. Killed off quite a lot of time when he had to get back up to the bike, pick the bike up and ride away. This is going to be a real tough one.
This is going to be tough. Look at there, starting off the Bundy. Clinton Moore's own trick, named after his hometown from Bundaberg. And then he gets into the 540. Just great amplitude, spins it around, and speaking of spinning around, nice 360 there. Maybe not as laid out as much as Tom's if you have to compare apples to apples, but there, KOD backflip, perfect landing, and then the vault. So Tom had the alley-oop flare and the special flip. Clinton Moore had the vault, the Bundy, They both had flares, except Tom had this Superman flare. But then you've got 3 big trick backflip combos here out of Clinton, and probably a couple extra jumps. So this is gonna really be tight.
Man, this is an incredible final. Quite honestly, I was expecting that we were going to see an amazing final here because the list of riders that we had present, spectacular. But quite honestly, I was not expecting the excitement level that was in this final here. I could barely hold myself from screaming in here.
Yeah, we just saw. I mean, Clinton brings something that's never been done.
Yeah.
Tom Pages brings something that's never been done. The level here just keeps upping, and you see some of these younger guys bringing the varial tricks now. I mean, even the youngins, like Meyer coming in with, the youngins. And you can see by Tom's face, I think he's got some stress there.
He's got some stress. We watched his face during that run, and he was like, oh my God, Clinton's having a good run. He knew it.
And even if he landed that bike flip, this would be a very difficult decision for the judges.
Very tight.
They're up there. Bikes are gone. Their security blankets are gone.
All right, let's see what the judges have to say. Final decision coming up here.
The Frenchman and the Australian. Clinton Moore, can he do it again? Can he go 2 for 2?
Well, that's a tough one. Here we go. This decision is in. Clinton Moore, Thomas Pages. Moore gets variety. Execution. Goes to Clinton Moore with a bullet. 4 points difference on execution for Moore.
Style. That's going to go Tom. I'll call
you think?
Tom.
It's Chloe.
No.
It's Clinton Moore.
He wins it. He wins it. I thought they were going to leave us with a cliffhanger here, Troy. I thought they were going to leave it down to the last one.
Course use also goes to Clinton Moore. And energy. It's a 5.
Wow.
It's a 5 helmet hit for Clinton Moore. He's got 2 in a row. That's 200 points on the season for Clinton Moore. That is an amazing start to the season for that young man from Bundesliga.